So our next review is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, once again directed by Ryan Coogler, and it came out last year in 2022. So the plot of the film begins with the death of T'Challa, the Black Panther. T'Challa, he dies of a mysterious illness. The Wakandans, they have a giant ritual in a funeral for him, and the T'Challa family, they're all spread out. They really don't know what to do. T'Challa's mother, Ramona, she's now the queen. Nakia, she was in a relationship with T'Challa. She has fled to Haiti. Shuri, she's still emotionally distraught about what happened. So yeah, Wakanda, they're trying to get their bearings back together. This was a huge loss for them. Not only that, Wakanda has also been exposed to the world through their vibranium, and countries are wanting to take their vibranium. Now, things for a while are kind of smooth until you have a vibranium rig out in the Atlantic Ocean. They send a couple of divers down into the ocean to collect the vibranium, but they are attacked by Talokians. So we go back to Wakanda. We have Shuri and Queen Ramona. They are sitting on a beach. It's nighttime, and they're kind of discussing the politics of Wakanda and their memories with T'Challa. However, they are confronted by Namor. He is the leader of the Talokians, and he wants Wakanda to help him protect his land, and he wants the Wakandans to go after a scientist that built a vibranium detection machine. He wants the Wakandans to bring the scientist to him so that the people can stop drilling on his land. Ramonda's a bit hesitant. She doesn't really know what to do. She doesn't really want war to happen. But she doesn't want her country also be attacked by the surface world. Okoye and Shuri, they volunteer to go find this scientist. Ramona kind of gives them a stern warning of things could go wrong. But anyway, Okoye and Shuri, they visit Everett K. Ross. And Everett K. Ross tips them off of a scientist that attends Cambridge University. So those two go to Cambridge, they find a scientist, and that scientist is named Riri. Also goes by the name of Ironheart. So Ironheart, she did build a vibranium detection machine, but it was just for a school project. But apparently the government bought her designs and patented it. So Riri, Shuri, and Okoye, they go to her warehouse, her workshop. They see all of her inventions and automobiles. However, the cops have been following them, and the police arrive. It was kind of a setup by the feds, so that they can, find the Wakandans. They believe that the Wakandans attacked the oil rig, so they're out to get him. So those three, they flee. However, the Talokians strike and they attack Okoye, Riri, and Shuri. Okoye, she gets knocked out unconscious, and the Talokians, they capture Riri and Shuri. Okoye reports back to Ramona and she tells him that the scientist and Shuri have been taken. And Ramona is extremely disappointed because she warned Okoye of what happened, so she stripped her of her rank. Ramona goes to Haiti and she tasks Nakia with finding Shuri, and she does. However, she happens to kill 2 Talokians. Namor finds out about this, and he's kind of formed a relationship with Shuri. He believes that he has been betrayed by Shuri, the Wakandans. Finds 2 of his Talokian members dead, so he declares war on Wakanda. In the final hour of this movie, it's pretty spectacular. It's like a watery masterpiece. Namor, he shows up at Wakanda, he floods the entire city. You have all these Wakandans battling the Talokians. It's an epic battle. But the city's flooded, and Queen Ramona, she ends up drowning to her death. Namor throws a bunch of water bombs into the Capitol building, and she drowns. Shuri shows up, but she's too late. She finds her mother dead, and this is when Shuri wants to become the Black Panther. So she drinks the special herbs, she goes to the ancestral plane, and she finds Michael B. Jordan. He's back as Killmonger. And Killmonger asks her, who is she? Is she noble like her brother? Or is she going to follow the footsteps of Killmonger? So Shuri, she wakes up, and she sets out to go on a quest to go kill Namor. So we get the end of the movie, those 2, they're fighting on an island. Shuri's standing over Namor. She exposes Namor's weakness, which is his skin. It apparently absorbs water. It's a process called diffusion, but she exposed his weakness, and she's about to stab him. Till she kind of remembers Chadwick Boseman's quote in Captain America Civil War, "Vengeance has consumed you." And she realized that vengeance has consumed her, and so she spares Namor's life. Wakanda and Talokan, they form some kind of peace treaty, and both nations are pledging to help each other if one needs to support. So there's like a tease at the end that Namor may return, so I guess this is setting up a Wakanda series, maybe a Namor series or Namor movie, or something like that. And then they get a post-credit scene, and it shows that T'Challa and Nakia, they had a child, and that child is named T'Challa Jr. So maybe next few years, that version of T'Challa will be aged up, and he'll be the new Black Panther. That might be the route they're headed. So they're kind of going to recast T'Challa, but at the same time, they're not. The original T'Challa won't be recasted, but they're going to recast the newer version, his offspring. So that's kind of the plot of this movie. It's really a lot to follow. But what I like about this movie is that it's kind of like a farewell love letter to Chadwick Boseman. The actor who played T'Challa, he did die. He died 3 years ago of colon cancer, so the beginning parts of this movie, they're kind of depicting real life events here, which I appreciate that. I like it when you mix real life events with fictitious events. So Chadwick Boseman, he was the actor of Black Panther. He died of colon cancer, so this film is made in his honor. So kind of like they're paying homage to him. The music in this film is also very emotional. This film also gets quiet and dark at some points. It's an emotional movie. I like the supporting cast. I thought they stepped it up. Letitia Wright, Angela Bassett, Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke. I feel like they all kind of stepped it up here on an emotional level. Because this movie needed all these people to come together to make this movie work. These people were just supporting cast members in the last film, Now their job is to anchor this film. And I think it worked. The movie grossed 800 million, a couple hundred shy of a billion, but this movie did pretty well for itself, despite what it was going up against. I like Namor in the movie. You can sympathize with him, but he's also very menacing and destructive if you get on his bad side. Also, what I like about the movie that it sets up future events. It sets up the Wakanda series on Disney Plus, and they also introduced a new character named Ironheart. They are doing an Ironheart TV series, and they introduced her in this movie. Dominic Thorne is the girl playing Ironheart, so we'll be seeing her in the future. The action in this movie is also pretty good. This movie is also a little more global, a little bit more destructive. Get to see more of Wakanda and the culture. So I kind of like that stuff. Now, I did have a couple of issues with this film. Okay, one is the absence of Chadwick Boseman. His absence is felt. And while I did like the supporting cast, what this movie is missing is an anchor. Someone that holds the film together. While watching this movie, I felt like something was missing. And that was Boseman. Because he held the other movie together. He's kind of like the moral compass. But this movie, everybody just feels a little bit lost. Maybe that was intended by design, or it was just some strange coincidence. But this film needs an anchor. And even though I like Letitia Wright as Shuri, I don't know about her anchoring the Black Panther franchise, for the long run. Maybe she can change my mind, but I don't know. There's potential. So the absence of Chadwick Boseman, that was missed. That was an issue, but not a detrimental one. It was an issue that I knew that I was going to experience going in. A second issue I had was Shuri as Black Panther. Her performance is great, but it was also very predictable. We all knew she was going to pick up the claws in a mask and become Black Panther. Very predictable. It's not bad. Predictability is not bad. But if I see it coming from a mile away, it is. And that's the problem with the MCU as of lately. They become very predictable. I know what's going to happen before it ends. I knew Namor was going to be the villain. I knew somehow, some way, they were going to turn him over to the good side and form an alliance. Same thing with Ant-Man. We all knew that King the Conqueror is going to come back in Avengers, so we all knew that Ant-Man wasn't really going to reach some kind of conclusion. But the MCU Phase 4, they've been kind of predictable. I missed Phase 1 through 3 where they were unpredictable. You didn't know what was going to happen. But anyway, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I enjoyed it. 10 out of 10. Is it better than the first one? Both films are completely different. The first film is a lot smaller and personal. This one is a lot more global and destructive. Now, since I like destructive movies, I might give this one a slight edge, but because Chadwick Boseman's in the first movie, because of what the guy represented, this actor played a lot of notable guys. Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, the Black Panther. So some might say that the first film is better. You can go either or, but I think this one gets the slight edge over the first one. Black Panther Wakanda Forever, thought it was pretty good, better than I expected it to be. So I'll give it a 10 out of 10. So I'll see you for my next movie review, and that might be Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania. I think that's my next review sometime in May. Or I might review another movie somewhere along, but stay tuned for the channel. Leave your comments down below and make sure to subscribe.